All right, let us move forward. Now, when we are talking about bar charts, there is something you need to know. A bar chart is in two ways. That is the two types of a bar chart. We have the component bar chart, and then we have the multiple bar chart. When we are talking about component bar chart, we are talking about a single bar chart. And when we are talking about multitude or multiple bar charts, according to the name, it's talking about more than one bars. For example, if I ask you to tell me the number of students you can find in JSS1, you can go and come back and tell me that the number of students you can find in JSS1 are 14. If I record 14 as the number of students that I can find in JSS1, that will be a component bar chart, because you are talking about JSS1 as one particular class. You are not separating it. You are talking about JSS1, the number of students you can find there 14 as one. But if you go and then come back and tell me that the number of girls you can find in JSS1 is 8 and the number of girls boys you can find in JSS1 is 6, you are no more talking about component. You are talking about multiple. Do you understand? Because now you are separating it. You are not talking about the whole students at one. So therefore, using that question we solved earlier, when I told you that the number of students that were born in June, I said students that are 13 years born in June are 8. Students that are 14 years born in June are 5. 15 years born in June 6. 16 years born in June 3. Now, this example that we're about to solve, we are going to split this number of students so that it can enable us to draw a multiple bar chart. Looking at this number of students, 8 now. Out of this 8, the number of boys there are 5. The number of girls there are 3. This one also 5. The number of boys there are 1, and the number of girls there are 4, so on and so forth. Therefore, the question is asking us now that show this information on a component bar chart and a multiple bar chart. Show this information on a component bar chart and a multiple bar chart. In order to do that, you know how to draw your lines now, as I taught you earlier. On the right hand side, it is your frequency that is on the right hand side, where you have the number of students. Remember, the number of students were 8, 5, 6, 3, 8. 8, 5, 6, 3, 8. But using frequency, we started with 0. We moved to 2, 4, 6, 8 with an interval of 2, so that we can get our number of students with this our frequency. Also below here, below the line, we have the age of students: 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm just showing you what I've already explained to you in the first video. Now, to draw a component bar chart, you just make sure that the age of the students align with the number of students. Like this one, particular one is 13. How many students are 13-year-old? So you just trace the bar up. 8 students. But you can see now, I can separate this bar that is 8 by doing something here. I will make boys have a bar that is shaded, and I will make girls have a bar that is not shaded. That means the bars of the girls are empty, while the bars of the boys are shaded. Now, if the number of students that are 13-year-old is 8, drawing my bar. You now go back to the question. How many boys out of that 8 students? How many number of boys do we have out of that 8 students? Go back to the question. Out of these 8 students, we have how many number of boys? 5 boys. And how many girls? 3 girls. That means, coming back to your diagram, remember that 8 students are 13-year-old. True or false? True. Now, and then remember that I said boys should be shaded, girls should not be shaded. Therefore, you separate it. Out of these 8, you just pick 5 for the boys and the remaining 3 for the girls. The boys is the one that is shaded. The girls is the one that is not shaded. That means the bars for the boys is from 0 to 5. In between 4 and 6. You can see it. This is the bars for the boys. While the bars for the girls is the remaining part, which is from 5 to 8, which is 3. Have you seen that? So that is how to draw a component bar chart, putting both the girls and the boys together as one. The same applies for the second bar. How many students born in the month of June is 14 years of age? Going back to the question, how many students is 14 years old born in the month of June? 5. So your bar should be up to 5, in between 4 and 6. Now you now ask yourself, how many boys and how many girls? 1 boy, 4 girls. Remember that boys is shaded, girls is not shaded. Now if boys is shaded, you see where it is. It's between the number 0 and 1. Boys is shaded. While the remaining part, which is unshaded, belongs to the girls, which is 4. That means we have 1 and 4. The 1 that's shaded belongs to the boys. The 4 that is unshaded belongs to the girls. That means 1 plus 4 will give me 5. That's why our bar is up to 5. That's how you do for each sector of the bars for a component bar chart. A component bar chart is saying that it must be 1. That's why you can see my bar is 1. It is not separated. The boys and the girls are together as 1. Boys and girls together as 1. Boys and girls together as 1. Not separated. But for the multiple bar chart, it must be separated. Each bar must stand on its own. Each bar must stand on its own. What do I mean by each bar must stand on its own? Using the same diagram, my frequency on my left hand side, which is the number of students, I can use a frequency of 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Depends on how you want to use your frequency. But make sure your frequency is used properly. And below, I have the age of students, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now you can see that the bars is separated. The one that is shaded belongs to the boys, as I told you earlier. The one that is not shaded belongs to the girls. That means how many students is that was born in the month of June is 13 years. According to the question, 8 students. Now, the shaded belongs to the boys. How many boys out of that 8? 5. You can see. I drew my bar chart up to the point of 5, between 4 and 6, which belongs to boys. And this one that is not shaded belongs to the girls, which is 3, standing on its own, in between 2 and 4. You can see that they are separate on their own. They are not on top of each other. It's not a component bar chart. It is a multiple bar chart. That's why you can see boys and girls, boys and girls, boys and girls. This particular one, that is 16, is only girls. That means the number of students that are 16-year-old, if you check the question, is just 3. If you check the question, the number of students that are 16 years old is just 3. And how many boys? 0, according to the question. How many girls? 3. That means no boy, just girls. That means we don't have to shade anything for 16, just only girls. While 17, we have boys and we have girls, according to how our multiple bar chart should look like. It is very clear. Just go through your notes. Go through your notes and go through this video. Again, if you don't understand this part, you will get it. Go through your notes. It's very simple and it's explanatory. You will understand it. So let's move on to the last part of this statistics, which is called a pie chart. A pie chart. If I ask you what is a pie chart, a pie chart is a circle that divides or that is divided into sectors with their angles proportional to the frequency of the item. What this video is trying to say, or what this pie chart is trying to say, is that it is a circle. A pie chart is a circle that is divided into sectors according to their frequency of their item. That means each item has their own sector in the circle. It's just like if you have a circle item or you have something at the circle, when you are cutting the circle into sectors, each item has their own sector. So let us look at this question. They said the following are the number of students we can find in Queen Mary's School. We have JSS1, JSS2, JSS3, SS1, SS2, SS3. The number of students there in JSS1 is 14, JSS2 30, JSS3 45, SS1 20, SS2 18, SS3 25. Then ask us to prepare a pie chart with this information that has been obtained. Now, the first step is to calculate the total number of students you can find in that particular school. Remember, in JSS1 we have 14, JSS2 we have 30, JSS3 we have 45, SS1 20, SS2 18, SS3 25. So the total number, when we add everything together, is 152. First step, calculate the total of the items that is given in the question. That's the first step. When you calculate the total that is given in the question, you now work in degree. You work in degree, picking the first item. The first item on the question is JSS1. JSS1 is 14 students over, what is the total number of students in all the whole class? 152 times 360 degree, because we are working in degree, which will be 33 degree. Go to the second one. What is the number of students in JSS2? 30. All over the total number of students in all the classes, 152. Multiply by 360 degree, because we are working in degree, 71 degree. For JSS3, 45 over 152 times 360. SS1, 20 over 152 times 360 degree. SS2 and SS3, you do the same method and you get their degree. Now, after working in degree, getting the answers, you make sure that you add each and every degree together to see whether you will get 360 degree. Make sure you add everything to see whether you get 360 degree. It must be 360 degree. Then leads us to the last part of the pie chart, which is the diagram. You draw a circle. After drawing a circle, please draw the circle very well. After drawing the circle, you now apportion each degree according to their sector. Remember that sum of angles in a circle is 360 degree. I've taught you earlier. So we apportion it each to their own class. You can see JSS1 has 33 degree. I think that is the smallest degree. So they will have a small part in the sector, the smallest part. JSS1 33 degree. JSS2 71, a larger part. JSS3 107, SS1 47, SS2 43, SS3 59. So in order for you to get the sectors, please make use of your protractor is in your marset. Your protractor is in your marset. Make use of it. Your protractor is half of a circle. It is half of a circle. It looks like half of a circle in your marset. Please make use of it. Then draw it twice. Your protractor, draw it twice to get a full circle. Then you will see numbers that has been labeled on that protractor. Then you can be able to use it to sketch correctly your pie chart.